Simple English story. A1 version. The house that knows your name. Hello. Tonight, we have a different story. It is not a sad story. It is not a quiet story. It is an exciting story. There is a house. A new house. A very old house. And someone is calling a name. But do not worry. This story has a happy ending. Take a deep breath. Let's begin. Part 1. A new home. Emma moved into a new house. She wanted a fresh start. She wanted a quiet life. The house was old, but pretty. It had big windows, a garden, and a red front door. During the daytime, the house felt warm and friendly. Emma cleaned the rooms, hung curtains, and smiled to herself. "This is home," she said. She felt happy. Part 2. The first night. At night, everything changed. The wind was strong. The old floors made small sounds. But that was not the strange part. When Emma was in bed, with the lights off, she heard something. A voice. Very soft. Very slow. Calling her name. Emma. She sat up fast. Her heart was loud. She turned on the lamp. No one was there. The house was quiet again. Maybe it was only the wind. Maybe she was tired. Emma closed her eyes. Part 3. The second night. The next night. It happened again. Emma. This time. The voice was closer. Clearer. Emma stood up. She walked through the house. Living room empty. Kitchen empty. Hallway empty. But she felt something. Not danger. Not fear. Just something. Like someone wanted to talk. "Who is there?" she asked. No answer. Only silence. Part 4. The third night. On the third night, the voice came again. Emma. And this time, Emma decided not to run. She took a deep breath. She followed the voice. Step by step. To the hallway. Then to the stairs. Then to the small room upstairs. A door she did not open before. Her hand shook. But she opened it slowly. Inside the room was dust. Old boxes. And a small desk. On the desk was a book. A diary. Part 5. The diary. Emma opened the diary. The first page had a name. Emma. Her eyes went wide. Why her name? She turned the pages. The diary was not about her. It was from a little girl who lived in the house many years ago. The girl's name was also Emma. The diary said, "I hope someone will live here who will love this house. I hope they will not be lonely. I hope they will feel safe." Emma's heart softened. The voice was not calling for help. It was calling with hope. Part 6. The truth. Emma closed her eyes and said softly, "I am here, I live here now. And I am okay." The room felt warmer. The air felt soft. A kind feeling filled the space. The voice came one last time. But not scary. It sounded happy. "Thank you, Emma." It faded like a smile. The room became still. The house felt safe again. Part 7. A new beginning. The next morning, the house was full of sunlight. It looked brighter, as if it was smiling. Emma cleaned the upstairs room, opened the windows, and put flowers on the desk. She said, "This house is not scary. It is protective. It wanted someone to be happy here. And she was." She made tea, sat in the living room, and felt peace. Every night after that, the house was quiet, not empty, but safe. Emma knew she was not alone anymore, and not in a scary way. In a warm way. Closing. Tonight, remember this. Not every mystery is danger. Not every strange thing is bad. Sometimes the unknown is simply looking for understanding. May your home feel safe. May your nights be calm. May your name be spoken with love. Good night.
A2 version. The house that knows your name. Hello. Tonight we will listen to a mysterious story, a story that begins with fear, but ends with warmth and hope. It is not a horror story. It is a story about a house, a memory, and a name that is spoken with love. Sit comfortably. Let your breath slow down. Let the story take you gently. Part 1. Moving into the old house. Emma moved into a very old house at the edge of town. She wanted a new life, calm, quiet, different. During the daytime, the house was almost perfect. Sunlight filled the living room. The wooden floor made soft sounds under her feet. The garden smelled of herbs and flowers. Emma smiled many times that first day. She finally felt she could start again. But the first night changed everything. Part 2. A voice in the dark. When Emma went to sleep, she turned off the lights and closed her eyes. Then she heard a voice, soft and slow. Emma. She opened her eyes immediately. Her heart beat fast. She sat up in bed and turned on the lamp. Nothing. Only silence. She tried to explain it to herself. It was only the wind. Old houses make strange sounds. She tried to sleep again. Part 3. A voice that comes closer. The second night, the voice returned louder, closer. Emma. It was not a scream. It was not angry. But it was clear. Emma walked through the house. Her hands were shaking. She checked every room. Nobody was there. But she felt something, a presence. Not dangerous, only waiting. She whispered, "Why are you calling me?" There was no answer, only silence again. Part 4. The room she never opened. On the third night, the voice returned. But Emma was not as afraid. She wanted to understand. She followed the voice, step by step down the hallway, up the stairs, to a small door she had never opened. Her hand trembled, but she turned the doorknob. Inside was a dusty little room with boxes, old toys, and a desk. On the desk was a diary. Part 5. The meaning of the name. Emma opened the diary. The very first page stopped her breath. My name is Emma. It was not about her. It was written by a girl who lived in the house many years ago. Emma read. I love this house. I hope the next person who lives here will love it too. I hope they will not feel lonely. I hope they will feel safe here. Suddenly, the voice from the nights made sense. It wasn't calling her with fear. It was calling her with hope. A name spoken not in danger but in welcome. Part 6. Peace at last. Emma closed her eyes and whispered. I live here now. I am safe. Thank you. The air became warm. The room felt bright. The silence was calm, not empty, but full of understanding. The voice spoke one last time, gentle and happy. Thank you, Emma. Then the house rested. Ending. From that day forward, the house felt like a friend. Sunlight seemed brighter. The rooms felt cozy. Emma felt protected, not alone. She said sometimes, smiling to herself. The house just wanted someone to be happy here. It was not a scary house. It was a house full of memory and love. And Emma lived there with peace.
B1 version. The house that knows your name. Welcome. Tonight's story begins with fear and ends with healing. A mystery that looks dark at first, but reveals something warm and human. Take a breath. Let curiosity rise, but let your heart stay calm. Part 1. A house that felt like a new start. Emma moved into an old house on a quiet street. She hoped the house would give her a fresh beginning, a place to forget the past and rebuild herself slowly. During the daytime, the house felt almost magical. Sunlight made patterns on the floor. The breeze through the windows smelled like flowers. Each room seemed to say, "Stay." Emma spent the whole day unpacking, cleaning, singing softly. For the first time in a long time, she felt truly hopeful. But the night changed everything. Part 2. The whisper of a name. Late at night, while Emma lay in bed, just before sleep arrived, she heard a soft whisper. Emma. It wasn't loud, but it wasn't imagination. Her heart jumped. She turned on the light. Nothing. The silence felt too perfect, as if the house was holding its breath. Part 3. The voice that wanted to be heard. The second night, Emma waited to see if it would happen again. It did. Emma. Not angry. Not threatening. Just close. Something, not fear, not danger, was trying to reach her. Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, Emma searched the house again, room by room. She found nothing, but she could feel something unspoken. The house wanted her attention. Part 4. The hidden room. On the third night, Emma felt ready. When the voice came again, she followed it instead of running. The whisper seemed to lead her up the stairs to a small room she had ignored since moving in. She opened the door. Dust floated in the air. Old boxes and books filled the space. And on a small wooden desk lay a diary. Part 5. The truth behind the voice. Emma opened the diary carefully. The first page said only, "My name is Emma." Her breath caught. A child had lived here once, a girl who shared her exact name. The diary told a gentle story. "I love this house. I hope someone kind will live here someday. I hope they won't feel alone. I hope they will feel safe." The voice wasn't asking for help. It wasn't trying to scare her. It was reaching out because it hoped she would love the house as much as the girl once did. Part 6. A house that wanted happiness. Emma touched the diary and whispered, "I'm here. I feel safe. And I like this house." Warmth filled the room as if the house itself exhaled. The voice spoke one last time, not mysterious, not frightening, but full of relief. "Thank you, Emma." Then the house went quiet, not silent like emptiness, but silent like peace. Emma smiled. She finally understood. Ending. From that day on, Emma lived happily in the old house. She filled the rooms with flowers, music, and laughter. Sometimes she said softly, almost like a reply to the past, "I'm home." The house never spoke again because it didn't need to. It was finally at peace.
B2 version. The house that knows your name. Welcome. Tonight's story carries a mystery but not a cruel one. A voice in the dark. A name whispered with longing. A fear that becomes understanding. Some stories frighten us. Others teach us that not everything unknown is dangerous. This one does both. Let's begin. Part 1. The house that promised a new life. Emma moved into an old house that seemed to wait for her arrival. In the daylight, the house felt warm and generous. Light sliding across wooden floors. A soft wind carrying the smell of cut grass through the windows. Rooms that looked lonely but ready for love. It felt like the perfect place to start again. Until night fell. Part 2. The name in the darkness. In the first night's silence, Emma heard it. Emma? Not shouted. Not desperate. But too clear to ignore. Her pulse raced. She turned on the lamp. Nothing, only the kind of silence that hides something rather than lacks it. She tried to sleep again, but the question stayed awake. Why her name? Part 3. The voice that moves closer. The second night, the whisper returned closer, unmistakable. Fear and curiosity fought inside her. She searched the house again, looking for logic, something simple. But what she felt wasn't danger, it was attention. As if the house was trying to speak in the only way it could. Part 4. The room frozen in time. On the third night, Emma didn't run. She followed. The whisper guided her up the stairs to a small forgotten room. She opened the door slowly and found a dusty space filled with old belongings and a diary on a small desk. She opened it. Part 5. The Softest Reveal. The first page. My name is Emma. The diary belonged to a little girl who once lived in this house. Her words were simple, but full of love. I want the next person to feel safe here. I hope they will not be lonely. It was not a warning. It was a wish. The voice wasn't calling for help. It was calling to welcome her. Part 6. A House That Needed to Let Go. Emma pressed her hand on the diary and whispered, I'm happy here. And I'm safe. Thank you. Warmth filled the room, like the air had been waiting years to hear those words. The voice answered one final time, soft, relieved, grateful. Thank you, Emma. Then silence returned, not empty, but fulfilled. Ending? From then on, the house held only peace. Emma watered the garden in the mornings, read books by the window in the afternoons, and laughed in the kitchen. She didn't try to forget the voice. She honored it by living happily. Some houses hold memories. Some memories hold love. And sometimes, love simply wants to be sure that someone is safe.